And there might be some weird noise and distortion. Oh, and it looks like now they pop up a window and let you know that that's happening. That's nice. Attempt to control it. And there might be some weird noise. There we go. And distortion. Okay. That should be working now. So with that, we will go into this. And I'm going to share screen for a little bit. Oh, and Lisa and Nancy, you haven't met yet. Mina, who actually went to Camp Alindo.
Hello.
And now she's at UC Santa Barbara. And she's our champion Nova Sutras intern right now. She's helping with a lot of the emailings and stuff. So,
Yeah.
Awesome. When did you graduate?
I'm actually still a student at UCSB, but do you mean Camp Alindo or? Okay. I graduated 2019. Yeah.
Okay. So sharing the screen now, and we'll roll into it. So we are going to include a meditation as part of this. So just you'll see as we move into that, but we'll do a couple other things first, including the basic introduction of Nova Sutras and what we're up to and what this cross-quarter thing is all about. So Nova Sutras hold celebrations at these 8 points of the year that mark the equinoxes and solstices and the moments in between them. And those are astronomical. They're about the tilt of the Earth's axis and where the sunlight is hitting most directly. So at the June solstice, the sunlight was hitting most directly at the farthest north it ever does on the Tropic of Cancer. At the September equinox, the sun will be directly overhead at the equator. And where we are right now, the sun is in the middle of those at 16 degrees, 20 minutes north. So it's crossing in the middle of the tropics here. These points called the cross quarters then mark the middles of seasons. Equinoxes and solstices are usually considered the start of seasons, but of course the seasons are different on the north and south hemisphere. So for us in the northern hemisphere, today is midsummer. In the southern hemisphere, this is midwinter. So there is a precise moment of the cross quarter, right when it's at that latitude where it's most directly overhead at 16 degrees and 20 minutes north. And that's actually going to happen close to midnight tonight for those of us here in California. So I have set up that there will be a pre-recorded meditation that people can listen to together on Insight Timer through that minute. And we like to offer some kind of meditation that people can do through that minute to make it truly global, because, you know, this is about the relationship between the Earth and the sun. So this is a planet-wide phenomenon. And that's part of why we choose to celebrate right then. In fact, these 8 points of the year, the solstices, equinoxes, cross quarters, there are holidays in almost all cultures for almost all 8 of these days. Interestingly, the August one doesn't have a lot of prominent celebrations in European cultures. So it's, you know, there's this Lammas or Longsad, I think is the Celtic, but a lot of people don't know it. It's less familiar. So since we know the exact time that the sun is at 16 degrees, 20 minutes north, we can also figure out the location where it will be overhead right then. And it turns out that today it's going to be overhead here in the south of India. So during our meditation, we'll take some time to think about where the sun is now. And actually right now, the sun is about here, sort of between Mexico and Hawaii, where it's directly overhead. But then we'll take some time to focus on that cross quarter point where it will be directly overhead in India. So that particular spot on Earth. So Nova Sutras does these global celebrations to remind us of some basic truths, some things that are either clearly recognized by science or held as true by almost all faith traditions all around the world. And the first of those is that nature is sacred, that there is something so special and profound about life on Earth that we really need to care for it. We recognize that change is an essential part of living systems. It's inevitable, it's important. We don't need to resist it, we need to understand it and work with it and influence it to go in the directions we want it to go. We recognize that living systems show us complexity and maturity only emerging from highly diverse and cooperative relationships with others who are different. And finally, just as we find in faith traditions all over the world, we take the time to celebrate the beauty of the living world, to savor it, honor it, and be committed to protecting it. So we sum up these principles with two brief words, Agaya and Ubuntu, as a way to help understand them. Agaya is a new word for Nova Sutras, and it merges a word that's been used for since the earliest days of Christianity, agape, as a word for transcendent love. With Gaia, an even more ancient word from the Greek referring to the earth goddess, but more relevant to us, a word that scientists have borrowed to talk about the way that life on Earth has co-evolved so that organisms are continuously creating the circumstances for ever more complex and beautiful and thriving life. And Agaya then is the invitation to see how those two concepts are intertwined, to actually see the beauty and complexity and diversity of life on Earth as an expression of love. One facet of this we label with a word borrowed from the languages of Southern Africa, Ubuntu. Ubuntu is very similar to the concept described by Thich Nhat Hanh as interdependent co-arising. The way that Archbishop Desmond Tutu has explained it is Ubuntu is about care and compassion in community and the recognition that none of us can thrive on our own. In fact, it almost says, I am because we are. Each of us is only who we are because of our relationships. And so when we talk about Agaya and Ubuntu, we're recognizing these essential truths and holding them in our hearts in a way that allows us to send love and gratitude to all the people and all the other beings with whom we're connected. And I just want to note, I haven't paused yet, but welcome, Carol. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And we're going to use these terms now, Agaya and Ubuntu, for our first little ceremony this afternoon of calling the corners. And before we go into that, just to let you know what roughly is going to happen is we'll do this calling the corners, and then we'll go into our guided meditation. And toward the end of the guided meditation, we'll be focusing our attention at that those what we call the subsolar points. So the point where the sun is now, and then that place, the south of India, where the sun will be overhead right at the moment of the cross quarter. After the meditation, we'll have some time to just reflect and talk with one another about what we experienced through the meditation. And then we'll do a couple of other little interactive sort of ceremonial bits. We'll do something called, that I refer to as the spicy blessings, where we talk about how all beings may abide in Agaya and Ubuntu, but understanding that abide not only means to really dwell within and live long. So this wish, this blessing, may all beings abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. But we also use the word abide as a little bit of a constraint. People need to abide by the rules. So we can offer this blessing even to those who perhaps don't currently follow the rules of Agaya and Ubuntu, but we would like them to. So we'll play with that a little later on. Again, we'll start with calling the corners, which is really just offering this blessing out, and using the phrase that way. And then again, then we'll go into meditation, we'll do the spicy blessings, and then we'll do a kind of a closing litany, a call and response thing. And that should wrap us up right about at 4. So for calling the corners, what we're doing now, feel free if you want to actually stand up and face the 4 directions as we call out the 4 directions, you're welcome to do so. We're going to start with the south and then go around sunwise. So to the west, then the next compass direction to the north, then the east. Then we'll go above and below. And then we'll do something a little different, similar to metta meditation practices in Buddhism. We're going to start with the self, and we're going to move outward in ever-expanding circles until we encompass the whole biosphere. So you're welcome to say this out loud along with us. You're welcome to stand up and face the different directions, or just turn your head and face the different directions, or just think in those different directions. But always thinking very specifically about where you are and what is in those directions or spaces in relation to you. So this is a way of kind of getting your own spiritual address, really finding your place in the biosphere and moving from there. So again, I will begin in the south, although challenging because it's behind me, and I'm going to just stay and more or less face the camera. So I'll do that. May all beings to the south abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the west abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the north abide in Agaya and Ubuntu. May all beings to the east abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings above abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings below abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May each one of us abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings nearby abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings in our watersheds abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings in our bioregions abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings on our continent abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings of the world's great oceans abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. And may all beings belonging to Earth's beautiful, beneficent, beloved biosphere abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. Now I invite you to get yourself settled in for meditation. So just let your body start to relax. You're sitting, just feel the weight of you being held and supported. Feel those places of contact. Maybe your feet are resting on the floor. Just let yourself sink in so that you are cradled. You are held and supported by the strong and beautiful earth beneath us. Take some nice deep breaths. Let your eyes soften their focus, or they can close if you want them to close. Just allow yourself to really drop. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let your weight sink down until it's held, supported, cradled by earth. And just explore how it feels to reach your energy down even further, as if sinking roots into the soil. Letting those anchor and stabilize you. Becoming entwined with the supportive, loving earth. And then bring your focus to your breath. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your abdomen and chest as air moves in and out. your lungs, this point of contact between the atmosphere all around you and the ocean that you carry inside you. Every breath, the tide where air and water are meeting. And every breath, taking in this gift of Ubuntu from all of our plant relatives here on the beautiful blue-green earth. Each breath probably has a molecule of oxygen that was exhaled by some kelp in the Indian Ocean, by some grasses on the plains of Mongolia, by a spruce tree in the forests of Germany, by an acacia tree on the African savanna, by an orchid in the jungles of the Amazon rainforest, by a redwood tree in coastal California. Every breath weaving us together in Ubuntu with these beautiful plant kin all around the world. And just as we receive their gift of Ubuntu in the oxygen that we take in, just as we have received the gift of Ubuntu from every plant that has become food to nourish us, we release back our gift of Ubuntu, reciprocating loving kindness with our breath as we exhale carbon to be taken up by other plants in other places all around the world. This incredible exchange of life itself through the living, moving breath of every being on earth, through the dance of metabolism in every living cell inside us, inside every being. The wonder of our metabolic fires releasing energy captured by sunlight from plants all over the world. This is part of a Gaia. A Gaia in the metabolic fires unleashed within each of our cells. A Gaia in the mushrooms bursting out through the forest floor. A Gaia in the graceful movement of jellyfish drifting through the ocean. A Gaia in the steep dive of the falcon, taking a meal. A Gaia in the slow grace of an elephant's walk. A Gaia in the haunting echo of the song of a humpback whale. A Gaia in the flashing color off the tiny feathers of a hummingbird. We find ourselves surrounded by such beauty. All of life on earth expressing that beauty in its own unique and splendid way. Allow yourself to be open to the possibility that each beautiful thing is an offering of love. That each time we perceive beauty, we are being welcomed in to this community of life on earth and offered a gift. A gift that says, hello, you are cherished. You belong here. You are beloved. And every time that we pause in wonder or gratitude, every time that we smile with delight at such beauty in the living world, we are sending that love back. We are reciprocating in a Gaia and Ubuntu, weaving ourselves more strongly into this beautiful community of all life on earth. We are in touch with the Gaia when we breathe in the sense of a wild forest, when we feel the warmth of a loved one's hand in ours, when we gaze up into a clear night sky filled with distant stars. Whenever we treat this beautiful world with reverence, whenever we feel that tingle of awe that reminds us that everything is a miracle, a surprise, a blessing. Imagine now that the community of us here on this call that those that will listen later, that people all around the world coming together to appreciate the Earth's spiral dance around the sun as the sun moves around the heart of our galaxy. Coming together on our precious planet of blues and greens, the browns of deserts, the bright whites of clouds and ice. Imagine us all now as if we were coming together in one place, a place where the sun is right overhead. Right now, we would find ourselves perhaps on a raft in the warm waters of the Pacific, with the sun streaming over our heads, right above us. All that warmth and energy moving into us, filling us up. So much moving through us that with compassion and loving kindness in our heart space, we can hold it just barely. And then it begins to radiate from us, to shine forth as wishes for Gaia and Ubuntu for all beings. Imagine us through this cross-quarter day, following the path of the sun through the mid-tropics. Crossing the Pacific, the South Pacific Islands, then the islands of Indonesia, and across the Indian Ocean, until right at that cross-quarter moment, we are over the jungles of southern India. With the tigers and the langur monkeys, with beautiful intertwined trees, vines, ferns and flowers, bright fruits in yellows and reds, deep purples. Birds calling out, monkeys chattering. And we find ourselves standing in a clearing. We drop in to celebrate the indigenous people of this land, to offer our gratitude for the way that they care for the land where they were born, for the land that they love, the way that they care for the streams and rivers. And we offer our loving kindness to support theirs. And again, taking in that incredible energy and warmth from the sun right overhead, letting it flow into the center of our being, and letting it shine forth from there, shining the light of Gaia and Ubuntu through these rainforests of southern India, shining Agaya and Ubuntu across South Asia and the Indian Ocean, shining Agaya and Ubuntu out to Africa, Australia, up into Siberia, down into Antarctica. Shining Agaya and Ubuntu to all the places touched by the light of the cross-quarter sun. Shining Agaya and Ubuntu so brightly that it touches all beings all around the world. The biosphere humming and glowing with these expressions of Agaya and Ubuntu. This joy and loving kindness and connection between all beings, caring for one another, supporting each other's thriving, inviting one another to become the best possible versions of themselves, holding one another in respect and reverence and deep loving kindness, building Agaya and Ubuntu together until it shines forth this brilliant glow from our precious little home world. The earth, this incredible radiant place in the dark of space, shining with the brilliance of thriving life, helping and healing one another all around the world. We can hold that vision in our hearts. What does it feel like to be on a thriving earth? What does it feel like to be part of a global community of Ubuntu and Agaya? What does it feel like to be part of this amazing co-creative dance of life on earth? So unique and special. Nothing quite like it in all the vast universe. Allow yourself to zoom back in on that beautiful planet. Whites and blues and greens and browns. Zoom back in to that very special place where your body is right now. Think about the specific animals and plants that you usually see when you walk outside. Think about your community, the people around you, the other beings that are part of your day-to-day life. and feel yourself in a network of Ubuntu and a Gaia right where you are. Feel a Gaia and Ubuntu in the relationships within your own body. Healthy organs in good relation with one another. Sending signals of well-being, cooperating to help heal you. Feel that loving energy of a Gaia and Ubuntu in every breath. Feel it move through you, out to the very tips of your fingers and toes. And let your toes and fingers start to just move a little bit. Maybe get some movement in your hands and feet, in your legs and arms, your shoulders, your hips, a little movement in your spine and neck. Move your head back and forth just a bit. And then very gently, your eyes have been closed, let them open. Let your focus come back to where you are. And look around for something beautiful in the space around you. Perhaps the light coming in from a window, maybe the leaf of a plant, the fur on a cat, a favorite piece of art. Just take in that beauty for a moment. And let yourself offer thanks for that gift of a Gaia and Ubuntu. And then as you're ready, we'll settle in and come back together as community here on this call. Thank you for being part of our cross-quarter meditation. So I want to open it up for people to share anything they want to share that came to them during their meditation, or anything that's arising for you now. Remember to participate in this conversation from a place of a Gaia and Ubuntu, with deep respect, with deep honesty, with well wishes for all who are speaking, and of course with remembering that we are recording and live streaming. So I'll stop this so we can see one another and invite you to unmute and just share anything that you're moved to share.
That was nice. Thank you.
Somewhere.
Thank you. I saw a black-headed grosbeak come to my window twice.
Ah, Wonderful.
It's pretty special. Yeah, I haven't seen one for many years.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I don't know why it was knocking on my window.
Hmm.
I can't believe they'd be nesting around here.
Wow.
And it's not past the nesting time anyway.
Yeah. Just wanted your attention for some reason.
I don't know what's the matter with it. It was goofy.
Hmm.
First clunk and then came back and clunked again. Not as hard.
All right.
I swear I've got stuff up there that should keep a bird from trying to fly into the windows. All my, my vertical blinds are up there and screen and so on.
Hmm.
Come to think of it, it came up against the screen at least a second time. Just wanted to say hello.
Maybe so. Did anyone else have something they want to share, or something they noticed, maybe something that surprised them that came up during the meditation? So next I'd like to welcome us into our first little ritual together, which, as promised, will be the spicy blessings. So, we come together as Nova Sutras with a certain set of values and understandings. But we know that not everyone in the world shares those values and understandings. And sometimes we really wish they would. So the cross quarters are a fun time to offer these. They are still blessings. They are still wishing that others might show up as their best selves. And yet, again, offering that maybe their behavior fall more closely within the expectations, the responsibilities of a Gaia and Ubuntu. So you can, of course, offer straight up blessings as well to anyone you like. I'll start us off with an offering that's important to me. I'm very engaged right now in work opposing the planned and ongoing partial construction of the Line 3 pipeline, bringing tar sands from Canada through Minnesota across over 200 bodies of water and wetlands that are threatened by oil spills, across land to which Indigenous people have treaty rights to be able to harvest wild rice and hunt and fish, which are all very dependent on clean, healthy water, to hold ceremony. And they have been holding ceremony and doing all that they can to resist and oppose the construction there for years. It has proceeded anyway. It has proceeded because the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers gave it a permit. It has proceeded because President Biden has not yet exercised his capacity to issue an executive order blocking it, as he did with Keystone XL, a very similar pipeline. And it has proceeded because banks continue to fund it and insurance companies continue to insure it, and other fossil fuel works. So I'm going to offer that all of these beings, Joe Biden, the heads of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the big banks that are funding, and of course, the Enbridge Corporation that is attempting to build this Line 3 pipeline. May all of them begin to wake up to and fully abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. Who has another target for one of these spicy blessings that they'd like to share? Could just be someone you know, could be a larger entity or group or organization. And again, you can offer simply a blessing to someone you want to offer a blessing to as well.
I'd like to offer a blessing to those men and women in our nation and across the world who are fighting for the coronavirus and not fighting with the rest of humanity to defeat the coronavirus. I find the anti-intellectual, anti-science, and quite honestly, the anti-humanist position that they take appalling and disheartening. And I would like to see them move towards a common good for all of us. Thank you.
So may all those who are not working for the common good of humanity emerging from coronavirus abide in Gaia and Ubuntu.
I'd like to offer blessings to all of our Democratic elected officials and Republicans to work for the ending of fossil fuels, especially Line 3, and to make their position against fossil fuels and for renewable fuels known to Joe Biden and to the rest of the world, and lead the world in ending fossil fuel use and ending global climate disaster, preventing more disasters. Bless all of our elected officials. May they do their duty and have compassion for themselves, their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren, and for all beings on earth. Bless their hearts.
I'd like to offer blessings to my family for the things that they're going through right now, and to offer blessings to Orion so that all the difficulties clear and there's no difficulties in his chosen field, and blessings for Sequoia so that he finds his heart passions and his way to enjoyment and prosperity.
I would like to offer blessings as a way to empower anyone who is not familiar on certain topics that are very prevalent in our life today in the media about the climate and politics and the coronavirus and everything that's going on. I would like to empower them to educate themselves and really take their own view into account instead of believing what may seem to be true on the surface level. And I would like to encourage them to abide in Gaia and Ubuntu.
There are other blessings, spicy or otherwise, that people want to offer right now?
I would like to add a spicy one to our government so that there's no more inappropriate dealings by of not honoring the already made agreements that they have.
I'd like to bless my family and my sister Susie, who just moved and was hard. And she has to move again in a couple of months. She has a bad back, and her son who moves with her has physical challenges as well. So bless them.
Mhm.
They certainly rise to their occasions.
I'd like to offer a blessing to all of those in California, in Turkey and Greece, who are fleeing from fires, the humans and the other animals, the plants who cannot flee. May all those threatened or harmed by fires abide in Gaia and Ubuntu.
Amen. And spicy blessings to all those who do not realize the seriousness of our climate crisis.
Mm.
May they inform themselves better. Take just a little bit more time
Mhm.
to know the truth and to act on it. May their minds be curious in themselves as well.
I'd like to offer a spicy blessing to all of those who choose to cut down forests, to plow up land, not from necessity, but simply from greed and a lack of reverence. May they learn to abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all those dingbats with really loud leaf blowers learn to abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. Are there other blessings people want to offer? Or shall we move into our next activity?
I want to bless the people who mow all the areas that don't need mowing, especially in the Illinois area and all around there. Mow, 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 all the roadsides and fields. Let's have some wild areas in the right-of-ways, please.
Mm.
And let the farmers leave some wildflowers for the bees, please.
Mhm.
I would like to bless the firefighters and hope that they have all the resources that they need to fight the fires
Mm.
and that the air gets clear quickly.
Mhm.
They've just said that they don't know that they will have enough resources.
Yeah.
Spicy blessings for all the billionaires who are hoarding the money and energy that needs to be spent on people and the environment.
Mm.
May their hearts be changed. Instead of flying off into space, they could take care of the earth.
Mhm.
And stop hoarding. Talk about hoarders.
Mm. Other blessings people want to offer? All right. So our next piece here is kind of a call and response thing. So there are going to be 4 segments. I'll scroll through them really quickly here. You'll see there are 4 different slides. And each of these, I'm going to ask one person to read the main line, and then the rest of us, Zoom doesn't cooperate well, but we can go ahead and try to unmute and respond to each line. So one person reads the line and then we all respond, we journey together. That same person reads the next line and the rest respond, we journey together. The third and fourth line of each verse, and the rest respond, we journey together. And then at the end of each verse, there will be a whole line that we'll read all together as one. This always, it works a little bit better in person, where the sound doesn't do weird things, but we will make it work on Zoom. So who would like to read? Who would like to lead reading the first verse?
I will.
Okay.
We journey together in the face of growing darkness,
We journey together.
in the face of ecological decline,
We journey together.
in the face of social upheaval.
We journey
together.
together.
In the face of growing uncertainty,
We journey together. In the face of growing darkness, we journey together toward the light. Who wants to take this one?
I will.
Lisa.
As we search for glimpses of truth,
We
We
journey
journey together.
as we search for signs of possibility,
We journey
together.
together.
as we search for heralds of a new era,
We journey
together.
together.
as we search for sources of hope,
We
We
journey
Together.
together.
As
As we search for glimpses of truth, we journey together
Together.
toward new levels of meaning. Next one.
I can do this one.
Okay.
As we build our world out of chaos,
We journey together.
as we build our world out of shattered illusions of superiority,
We journey together.
as we build our world out of our inadequate institutions,
We journey together.
together.
as we build our world out of our unfair sharing of resources,
We
We journey
together.
together.
as we
As we build our world out of chaos,
We
we journey together toward a new era
of
of justice.
Wonderful.
Omar, do you want to take the last one?
As the universe unfolds
We journey
together.
together.
As the universe unfolds through spontaneous communion,
We journey together.
as the universe unfolds through new levels of meaning,
We journey together.
as the universe unfolds through new forms of life.
We journey
Together.
together. As the universe unfolds, we journey together in a Gaia and Ubuntu. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for writing it.
Oh, I can't take credit for writing that. That's a traditional thing that's been going around in work that reconnects circles. I'm not sure where it came from originally. I think it might be something that Joanna Macy wrote, but it might be something that was borrowed from elsewhere. I should find that out.
Well, Thich Nhat Hanh wrote a lot of poetry, so it might have been him.
Could have been. So, well, I guess, yeah, given the time, I'm just going to walk us through a little bit of a, sort of wrap up for Nova Sutras, and then we'll do a little closing circle, and be done right about at 4. So that's pretty good. So I will actually go back to sharing screen here. And this is the part of the talk where I'm mostly talking to folks on YouTube, but you all should get to hear the wrap again anyway. And most of you already do, but thank you for supporting our work through Patreon. It's a way that you can make small donations every month. Check out the website for details on that. If a one-time donation is easier for you, there's a PayPal option to do that. But another way that you can help our movement grow and help us offer more things like this is to become a Nova Sutras uplifter, or if you're looking for an internship, we currently have room for another intern. So thank you, Mina, for all that you're doing. Thank you, Lisa and Carol, for all that you've done as Nova Sutras uplifters. And Omar, I know your heart's in there somewhere, but you got other stuff going on. I get it.
I'm
All
on
right.
Patreon. I
You
donate
are.
monthly.
You are. Thank you for that. And really the most important thing right now, we want to get this out to the people who need it most. So it's hard to know who those people are. So please, if you find anyone that you think might appreciate an event like this, let them know about it. Let them know about the website, some of the stuff we have coming up. One of our outlets is this meditation app called Insight Timer, and I'll be offering a meditation through that on Monday. We have uplifters meetings where we're, planning and distributing work to set up other events and things. Those happen every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. We have open sessions called Discussions in Difficult Times, which are really just open conversation spaces. And currently we're doing those every other Thursday at 11:30 a.m. So the next one is August 19th and then September 2nd and 16th. And for those who are local in the Santa Cruz area, we'll be doing, Nova Sutras is helping to organize demonstrations here in Santa Cruz. You can check out bit.ly/stopline3sc with stop and line and S and C capitalized. Anywhere else in the world, check out actionnetwork.org's website about the Greenwashing Day of Action on Friday the 13th. Anyone who's interested, you can contact us or go to novasutras.org/events and sign up to get weekly event listings. Our next Octal meditation will be for the equinox. The precise timing of the equinox is September 22nd, which I believe is a Wednesday, and it's 21 minutes past noon Pacific time. So that's probably, we'll do something starting at noon Pacific time on the equinox, but we haven't set that up yet. So that's the next time one like this is coming. So you can always go to our website, novasutras.org, to subscribe to our newsletter. We post blog articles sporadically, but we're trying to get more regular about that. You can learn about our other events. You can find some recordings of guided meditations. Some of them, like this, are available on YouTube. Of course, we have the regular social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And again, you can look for recordings and a circle on Insight Timer. A circle is a sort of chat channel message board thing within Insight Timer that are specific to Nova Sutras, or you can look for me, Dr. Michelle Merrill, on Insight Timer. So I want to thank everyone on the call for being part of our August 2021 cross-quarter celebration and adventure. And as we close out, we just have 5 minutes. So I'd like to give each person a chance to offer just, 1 to 3 words of what's in your heart right now. What's present for you? What are you feeling? What's coming up for you? So again, just really briefly, a couple of words, and then we'll hold hands and close out. Go
Hope.
ahead. Oh. Mina, how about you?
I think probably the best word to describe what I'm feeling right now is gratitude. Yeah, a lot of gratitude.
Omar, you got 1 to 3 words for us?
Pray for the world.
And Carol, how about you?
Hooray for the world.
I'm feeling connected and contented. It's good. Yeah. Again, I just want to thank you all so much for being here. It really means a lot to me. And I'd like for us all to have a chance to hold hands, but since we're on Zoom, we'll just kind of do it this way. So you just move your hands out to where they look like they're touching other people's hands on the screen somewhere. And that's the best we can do. So again, very happy, blessed, and wonderful cross quarter and Ubuntu and Agaya to everyone. Thank you so much.